Alberta Premier Rachel Notley is attending that meeting for the first time. She was elected in May, and she joins me now. Premier Notley, thanks for joining us. And of course, the focus of today's meeting is on energy. And earlier we heard Premier Brad Wall express concern that the energy sector is being seen as a liability. Do you share that concern?
I don't really. I think, there's been some really good collaboration in the conversations that we've had thus far. We haven't reached a complete conclusion, but I do know that I can say from almost all my colleagues across the country that there's a strong understanding of the important role that our energy sector plays to our economy, to prosperity, and frankly to job creation. And I've always been of the view, quite honestly, that you can talk about that, and at the same time you can talk about environmental responsibility, and that efforts to polarize the two issues or somehow say that talking about one means you're against the other, frankly has inhibited the discussion and made it difficult to move forward on either. And so, and my sense today is that there's a few people at that table that agree with that, and we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Is the Saskatchewan Premier making things more difficult behind the closed doors there with that point of view?
Well, the Saskatchewan Premier is going to do what he chooses to do. My view is that in the province of Alberta, we've been an energy leader for decades. And part of the way we've done that is by taking a collaborative, mature, long-term view of our relationships with our colleagues across the country. And we've worked to build partnerships because we know ultimately that's the way to build consensus and support for what we're trying to get done. And so I'm going to continue that strategy. I think it's one that works well, other premiers can do a little bit of showboating if that's what they want to do, but I really think that those sort of mature, long-standing, responsive, collaborative relationships are the way to ensure that you have good, difficult sometimes discussions, but ones where you can keep the dialogue going and hopefully reach good outcomes.
Is one collaborative relationship you're looking at entering into perhaps the cap-and-trade system that we know Ontario and Quebec and California are all participating in now?
Well, I know that they are participating in that. We have established, as you probably know, a climate change review process, one that is chaired by Andrew Leach, and we'll be talking to Albertans, to stakeholders, to environmentalists, to industry leaders, to community members. And I don't want to prejudge anything that would come out of that, but certainly one of the things that's important to me, no matter where we go, is that we ensure that we can maintain the prosperity and the sustainability of our industry, and that Albertans can retain the value of that industry. So that's really critical to where we go forward.
There's a balancing act, obviously, between the pipelines and the emission policy, and particularly with the Energy East pipeline, you do need to have Ontario and Quebec on side. Is there a concern or a danger that you might be handing off some of the Alberta policy making to the folks from central Canada in that kind of compromise?
Not at all. Not at all. I think that we have always been a country that consists of strong provinces. And when we've done our best work, it's because we've sat down and we've talked to each other and we've come to an agreement. And one of the ways you do that is you listen to what other people have to say. At the end of the day, I'm fully aware of what my legal responsibilities are and, frankly, what my legal rights are. But that does not negate intelligent, thoughtful, mature dialogue with people that you need to work in partnership with. You don't get things done by picking fights with people gratuitously. You do get things done by having good conversations. And so because I'm doing that does not by any means mean that I'm handing off anybody's responsibility or authority, and to suggest so is just simply ridiculous and a bit naive.
On the world issues, the world stage today, we saw big news this week with Iran nuclear deal that was announced in the United States. That, of course, has the potential of putting more Iranian oil on the market at the same time as we're seeing all kinds of other pressures, including from the United States with more oil on the market. How is your province planning to deal with that additional geopolitical geopolitical factor in the context of what's happening across the world?
Well, I mean, I've certainly heard some analysts suggest that the price of oil had already adjusted and/or anticipated the change in policy vis-a-vis Iran, and so that's already reflected. At the end of the day, we don't have control over what happens with Iran or a number of other different international players. What we do know, though, is that, again, we're an energy province, and we're a very resilient energy province. We are not at all unfamiliar with this thing that happens when the price goes up and the price goes down. And the issue is ensuring, working closely with industry to protect that resilience when times are a bit tougher, but knowing that we've been through it before and that we will continue to focus on ensuring the prosperity of that industry for all Albertans.
Thank you so much for joining us. That is Alberta Premier Rachel Notley at the Premier's meeting in St. John.